Hey, what's up guys, it's Liam or Wiggle on your Overwatch, back with a new video today. We're going to go through some of the most important fundamentals of Gamesense. These are things that a lot of people claim to know yet don't implement into the game, and some people, especially at lower ranks, probably don't know some of these things and how important they are. So, if it helps you out, let me know in the comments, or if I missed anything, let me know as well. Be sure to subscribe if you guys enjoyed. So, the first thing I want to talk about is positioning. Positioning is very important in the game for loads and loads of different reasons, and one of the most important things is actually your positioning in the 1v1 gunfight that you're actually in with somebody. So say you're a McCree and you're trying to kill a Tracer. Now, some people would claim that McCree is a good counter to Tracer, however, she can win just as much as McCree does too. As McCree, your only opportunity to win this fight is to keep your flashbang for as long as possible. So your positioning when this Tracer is coming for you is very, very important. You need to bait out her blinks and her rewind to eventually get her close enough to flash her and then finish her off. Positioning isn't only about 1v1s though, sometimes positioning is very important when just trying to take a site. Let's use Hanamura for example. If you want to attack Hanamura, there's a very small choke point to go through and you'll usually need a Reinhardt to get past it. Determining where the enemy team are and actually going away from them and taking higher ground and gaining more positioning is often way more important than actually going for the fight straight away. High ground is always better than low ground, and flanking can be very good a lot of the time. You just have to figure out the best positioning which you are granted and which the enemy team actually give you, because sometimes they can give away really important ground without even realizing it. Once you take it from them, it takes their ability to even kill you out of the game, especially if you manage to get that high ground, as I mentioned before. Number 4, I'm going to talk about ult timings. Ult timings are so important, and there's this like ult algebra, which Fredo calls it, which is how to really use your ult at the right time so that you can out-ult the enemy team. Now, the biggest counter for mass ults is Mercy. Her resurrect can instantly just bring everyone back alive, and all the ults that were used were completely wasted, because if everyone's used their ults and they've all been rezzed again, you've now got to have a fight with no ults, and they may still have a couple in their pocket. So ult timings, when should you use them? If you've got a Lucio and a Zenyatta on your team, both of their ults are similar in the way that they can make people survive a hell of a lot easier. So when there's a horde of these massive ultimates coming in, maybe a Graviton Bomb and a Hanzo ult, if you actually time your Lucio ult at the right time, you can make your team survive that. However, you don't want to have your Lucio ult and your Zen ult at the same time, because you want the other one for a later fight. Another thing that happens a lot is when your team are well up in a fight and you've already killed 4 of the enemy team, and then someone just pops out their ult randomly. That's a waste of an ult. Your team should have just focused it as a 6v2 to finish them 2 people off and keep your ult for the next fight. It's one of the most important things in the game, and just do not use your ult unless you absolutely have to. The next thing I want to talk about is when to disengage, when to run off, or actually go and save your teammates. It's very difficult for people sometimes to decide what they should actually be doing, and it's very easy for them to tunnel vision. Tunnel visioning is one of the worst things to do in the game, especially if you're a high impact hero like Genji. Genji really needs to be chasing down the healers and the right targets, but often can be in random fights with, say, a Reaper that's just off to the side somewhere that isn't actually causing anyone any immediate harm, or isn't helping the team in a big way like a Mercy could. So choosing when to disengage, when to run away is very important. You may need to save a teammate as Genji sometimes, rather than just actually being the main aggressor. You may need to pop back to save your Lucio or your Mercy that's in trouble. It's also good to know when to disengage. As a team, sometimes Lucio speed boost should actually be used to run away from a fight rather than into one, and learning these timings is very important. So one thing that I kind of just mentioned, and it's the next part, is target prioritization. So who should you actually be killing? And this also brings in focus fire as well. If you're playing a hero such as Genji, which I mentioned before, your main job really is to be killing healers as quickly as possible, especially if it's a Mercy or an Ana. But if it is an Ana, you may also need some help with another Tracer or a Winston on your team too. It's important to pick off the right people at the right times. Sometimes the healers may not actually be doing that much, but you can't seem to kill anything. Often there'll be like a McCree or another DPS on their team doing a lot of damage, in which case you actually want to kill him first. Learning who to target is just something that comes with playing the game and ranking up through the ranks, playing with more teammates, and just a bigger all-round understanding of the game. But trying to get the right targets is the most important thing in the entire game. Focus fire is you and your team focusing the same correct targets at the same time, because if everyone's off in their own individual fights, that will never work. And it will definitely never work as well as being all in the right fight on the right person at the exact same time. If you all just jump the healer's gonna die. If you all just jump that McCree that's off to the side baiting his team but doing a lot of damage to you, you all focus him, they're instantly a DPS down, and it makes it much easier to focus the tanks and the healers that are remaining on their team. The last thing that I'll mention is never trickle in. Now, some characters can play solo, such as Tracer and Genji and Winston, because they are able to get into the fight and out of it relatively quickly without dying or getting hit too much. This isn't as much of a problem, but one of the worst things that can happen is when you're trying to defend a point and you lose it, and then your team start trickling back towards that objective when you've clearly lost it. If you then lose that point and two people trickle off and die, if the enemy team's speed boost to the next point, they're going to be there before you've respawned, and you'll be down in the next fight. And this is a serious issue. This happens all of the time. You need to be up in team fights. Sometimes you do have to just concede ground that you normally wouldn't want to in order to regroup and have a full team fight. Because a 5v6 is going to lose nearly all of the time if everyone's around an equal skill level. And if you're 2 down with the enemy speed boosting at your point with their ultimates and you're trying to come out of spawn, you're not going to stand a chance against that. Trickling in is nearly never a good idea. Sometimes there's like occasions where if you're Mei, you could maybe trickle to the point and freeze them with your ult and get enough time for the rest of your team to also trickle back to you. But this is like a 0.01% chance of this actually being viable. But 99.99999 recurring out of 100 times, it's better to back off and regroup. Do not trickle in, and you all need to concentrate on that next push that's coming, because they are coming as fast as they can, because if they've took that point quickly, they're all going to have their ults, and it's going to be tough even in a 6v6. So guys, if I missed anything, the comment section is the place to let me know. There's a lot of things now for you guys to follow. We do Twitter, we live stream, we have a Discord where you guys can play with each other, talk to each other, and some of us as well. We will also be playing with you guys on the live stream too. We always try and live stream when we make a video live, so go and see if it's live right now. Hope you all have a great day as always. Take care and peace.